Oh no,
There it is. We're live.
oh no, we're not. I thought I was off air earlier, and I was not. Okay,
Hello.
now I was doing a solo video. Anyway, we have a wide array of people tonight looking at fall beers, and we've got myself. Well, let's go west to east. We have Dale in Colorado.
Howdy.
Hello. We have myself, Jay, in Louisiana. We have Brandon in Mississippi. We have John, and I thought Charles would join us. Charles didn't make it. We have John in Ohio. I thought we were going to have the Beer Whisperer Buckaroos. Howdy do from Missouri, but he didn't make it. And also from Ohio, I thought we were going to have beer sampling with Dave, but he's not here. But we've got Scott White from Ohio. And
What's going on, guys?
we're just looking at beer. And we got Eric and Nate from Massachusetts. Eric and Nate K. All right. Well, to give you a quick history of fall beers. Fall beers were developed so that people could drink beer during the fall. Now,
Yeah.
all right, we're just gonna run down. We don't want to make this some long, drawn-out, boring video. So we'll just show what fall beers we have. Going west to east, Dale, what do you have for us tonight?
I grabbed a can of Punktoberfest, an Oktoberfest lager from Big Choice Brewing out of Broomfield, Colorado.
All right.
Wow, how long has that been around? Do you have any idea?
This is the first release this year.
Oh, yeah, that's a good. And what's the ABV on it?
5.5%, about 23 IBU.
Sounds just about right. I have a very similar beer. I think it's Abita's Oktoberfest, which came out this year, first release. It's 5.4% alcohol, and it's 24 international bitterness units. Hopped with Hallertau. Okay, how about our Mississippi friend, Brandon?
All right, I brought a bomber of a Southern Tier Imperial Pumpkin. It's pumpkin beer. I guess it really, when you deal with the seasonal pumpkin beers, they're technically, I guess, now summer beers since they released them so early, but that's a different horse to beat. It's an Imperial Pumpkin Ale brewed since 2007, 8.6% ABV. Don't have any IBU information on it, but they've been making it since 2007, so there you go.
Yeah, they never do give the IBU on their website, which irritates me to no end. That's cool, Brandon. 2007. Huh? All right, John from Indiana.
I got one from that my buddy Tom sent me last year. It's from Mother's Brewing Company. It's 10 IBU, 5% alcohol, and if what I'm reading on the side here, this was their first release last year, so beer's a year old.
And wait, give me the specs again.
What is it?
It's 5% alcohol, 10 IBU. It's Mr. Pumpkin from Mother's Brewing Company.
Okay. All right, now, I guess that's a fall beer, right? Pumpkins. I see pumpkins in the grocery store.
Oh, yeah.
All right, from the great state of Ohio. Eric, I'm Eric. What am I saying? I must be tired. And I'm not tired. I'm just discombobulated, Scott.
Hey guys, man. Tonight I decided, hey, why not? What's the first thing you guys kind of think of when you think of fall? It's the autumn season. So I come to you with the brewery Autumn Maple.
That's
Man, this beer here is brewed with 17 pounds of yams per barrel. And it's a different take on a pumpkin style beer because it's brewed with cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, vanilla, molasses, maple syrup, and fermented with their Belgian yeast strain. It's 10% ABV and 25 IBUs.
What's the ABV again?
10%.
Gee whiz.
Yummy.
Well, the brewery makes some really exotic stuff. And
Yeah,
let me ask you this important question. Did you pay for this beer or was it sent to you?
I paid for it.
Okay. All right. Now, going on. Eric? we're saving the best for last, Nate. We're saving you for Eric.
I have
Please,
the,
west of me.
I have the Weisstefaner Oktoberfest beer. Weisstefaner. I did pay for that, by the way. It is 5.8% alcohol by volume. Weisstefaner has been around since 1040 AD, making them the world's oldest brewery. And if I have the information correct that I found on the internet, for 2 bottles of this, it would equal out to about 348 calories.
Wow, that's awesome. That's an awesome beer. I've had that before. Weisstefaner makes some exceptional stuff. I mean, if they make a bad beer, I'm not aware of it. Nate?
Okay, so what I've got is from Jack's Abbey, and they brew locally out of Framingham, Massachusetts, about an hour west of Boston.
Yeah.
And this particular one is really interesting. It's called the Smoked Marzen. I don't know if I'm really pronouncing it right. It's got a funny umlaut over the A there, but it's the Oktoberfest, and it's excellent. And I think probably the best best thing I can say about it is just the commercial description. It accurately depicts it. This is an intensely smoky lager, similar to the ones found in Bamberg, Germany. Most of this brew's malt was dried over flaming beechwood, so you've got a real kind of smoky flavor of it when you drink it. It especially reminds me of fall when you drive by someone who's burning leaves in the fall.
So it's like a rock beer Marzen. They make that Oxling Kerala rock beer Marzen also, which I've had. I've never had the one you're drinking because it's not sold around here. Neil, just give us a rundown. Just give us a rundown of your beer. You know, like the general qualities. I'd love to try it, but of course I've never had it anyway.
Well, this one, I like the Marzen style. And this one comes in with way more caramel notes, and I mean, it's the traditional color. It's the right color, but it just gets into a bigger. I don't know. The malt is totally different than a traditional Marzen, so it comes, and I guess that's probably why they're calling it their Punktoberfest, kind of, be different, and this is a local brewery that's it's kind of small, but they're in the canning game, so, and they do all these pint-sized cans, so, but
Slope, yeah.
Definitely sweet, definitely just that's more sweetness than you're normally used to on a normal Marzen, like a Sam Adams Oktoberfest.
How you mean that? And that's how you mean the malt's different and sweeter?
Yeah, totally. Like, and I get I get caramel, which, often just I don't know, it doesn't belong, but it makes it a great different beer. So.
Now this Abita Oktoberfest. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about it. It's $7.99 a 6-pack, and sometimes they'll run sales for $6.99 a 6-pack, so it's inexpensive. It looks like a typical fall beer, right? It's got that copper color and all that. It's the right ABV, 5.4 and 24 IBU, but I don't know. I did a review of it this morning at the grocery store, and I gave it a B+, but I don't know. It smells too, it smells too hoppy, like and there's some sort of like, I don't know. I'm picking up a little bit of citrus in it, a little bit.
Yeah, that makes sense for that style of beer. Absolutely.
The flavor is you get the bread crust, the brown bread crust, the sweetness. I guess I'm being too picky.
It's just middle of the road for you when it comes to that style of Oktoberfest.
Well, Oktoberfest beers tend to be sort of middle of the road anyway. They're made for guzzling at a German festival, right?
Right.
Drinking.
So, I guess for something like that, like if you went to Oktoberfest and they have this on tap, and I know they would at Deutsches Haus in New Orleans, people are going to be chugging it and eating Wiener Schnitzel and German potato salad and Jewish bread. They're not going to be sitting there thinking about, oh, well, you know, I find that the malt sweetness is out of balance with the hop bitterness, you know, and all of that.
Absolutely. I hear you on that.
For a chuggable Oktoberfest beer, it's pretty good, but I'm not in love with it.
Right.
I would say it's worth trying it, and John and I talked about this before. We agreed that really, to be fair with a beer, you really need to drink it 5 times before you give it a final review, but that's not really possible, but it's probably the best way.
Or at least get a fairly large bottle of it for a good in-depth tasting of it.
Yeah, these little quick reviews where you're saying, man,
Yep.
I agree, Eric. We'll go on. We'll go on to the next person, Brandon.
All right. Well, pumpkin. I mean, the color. I mean, it's definitely more of an orangish flavored. I mean, you'd say I wouldn't say super orange. I'd say more of like a copper is what it is, like a copper.
It looks pretty orange on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like, but here it's more of a copper, but it's got a good head on it. I poured it a while ago. It still retains. It's got plenty of carbonation. The aroma, it smells like a pumpkin pie. I mean, I've had this beer quite a few times in the past, and as far as pumpkin beers go, this is one of my favorites. So definitely like it more than the Warlock, put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen the Warlock, but it was so expensive, I never bought it.
Yeah.
You don't find the pumpkin is too sweet and like rich or whatever?
It's pretty rich, but this one thing with this brewery is that you know what you're getting with them. You're going to get their big bomber series or whatever.
Yeah.
You're going to get a big rich beer from like the creme brulee or stuff like that, or the chocolat or whatever. You know they're going to be really big, so it's just judged based on that. This one isn't nearly as sweet as those or as rich as those, so that's one of the reasons I like this one much more than the other.
So it's pretty intense, but it's not as intense.
Exactly.
If a person likes really intense beers, that series is good for them. But if you don't like those bold flavors and aromas, you probably would not want to deal with that line of beers, huh?
Exactly.
Yeah. I might be one of the people that maybe shouldn't deal with it. I don't know. I'm just saying. Anyway, I'm not downgrading the line just because I'm weak. Who's next? John?
Well, I think this is a pretty good beer right here. It's got two row malts in it, and it's just all around. You taste a lot of spice in it. Overall, it's a pretty good beer. It's copper color, orangey, I guess you might say, but I'd say it's colorful. But overall, it's a typical frickin' October pumpkin beer. Almost kind of reminds me of, I don't know, maybe of every other October beer.
That's a very succinct description. A pretty freaking typical pumpkin October beer. I like it.
Are you from Boston by chance?
Is it thin or is it a medium mouthfeel?
I'm gonna say it's probably I'm gonna say more of a light medium mouthfeel.
All right. Yeah. I mean, just the ABV you said was like down in the 5s, so.
Yeah. It's pretty light.
That sounds pretty good. I mean, you know.
It's a light beer for a pumpkin. October beer.
Right.
Yeah, that makes. I got you. Eric.
Okay, I got the Westfaner October Weiss beer here. It is. Let me see if I can get a couple of little bits of information. Commercial description: a rich, full-bodied, hoppy seasonal lager brewed especially for the fest beer season. Truly represents the Bavarian way of celebrating. Deep gold color, great mouthfeel, and lots of flavor. Prost. As you could see when I was holding it up, it does had that much of the head to the rim of the glass, and now it's gone down. To me, it doesn't really look like what you think an Oktoberfest beer would look like. It doesn't have that gold. It doesn't have that deep, dark copper color. It's got like a American adjunct or a German Pilsner look to it. It has that greeny smell with a little bit more of a florally hop spice, some biscuit notes, and there is a pungent kind of a spice in there. I don't know if that's maybe some coriander or some allspice, but there is, or maybe even like a light ginger. I could be reaching for that one, but it's light to medium towards medium actually. and you actually do get a richer, maltier taste than the smell would let you believe. It does have the hoppy, biscuity malt, or hop spice, I should say, and the malts are pretty dark for how it looks here. So it has that roasted taste with sort of like a Pilsner undertone as well. That's what I get out of this beer. Very drinkable.
Ryan Stefano's been making beer since 1040, right? So if it's kind of light looking, maybe that's the way it's supposed to be. I mean,
Yeah.
they're on the scene, right? They're where Oktoberfest started, so I would defer to them.
Absolutely. They do have other beers that are more dark than that. They have a Bock beer and they have a double Bock and the Vitus. So this isn't the darkest one that they have, even though it is Oktoberfest.
You're right. Yeah. They make some. Yeah, they have some really dark ones and those really rich, super malty.
Right.
Doppelbocks and all.
I would say quickly here that if you like a Czech Pilsner or something, or even like a German style Pilsner where it's a little bit more forward on the hop, biscuity, and some of the spice flavors, you probably would like this Oktoberfest beer a lot.
Oh, well, Dave, you better get your October beer. Now, let's see, Scott, we
missed Scott.
I'm sorry, Scott.
That's all right, man. I'm just sitting back taking it in.
Chilling, relaxing.
You got a lot to take in.
Kicking
Right.
That big beer.
First off, if you guys, I know a lot of you have to have at least seen this.
I've had that last year.
I've
Okay.
seen it in the store, yeah, but it's so expensive.
Yeah,
What the hell are you guys doing? What? People go to work, man. What the hell? People go to work at this time of day. What? Dale, Jesus, it's what? Oh, look what time it is out there. 5 o'clock. What?
It's almost 5 o'clock. I already finished.
There you go,
I'm
Jay.
getting ready for work, man. I gotta walk to work in this crappy weather today.
Go get the fall beer.
Yeah, all right.
All right, now, Dave Coulter is going to go get his fall beer while Scott describes this beer from the brewery.
Wait a minute. You guys are actually drinking a beer at 7 o'clock in the morning. Is that what I was supposed to believe?
It is not 7 o'clock in the morning.
What time is it, man? It's 6:50.
PM, dude.
PM.
That's about what they cost right here, Scott. That's about the same price here as what you're getting there
So
for.
$11.99 is not bad.
No, not
No.
for that beer. Not 10%.
Yeah, I think I paid $16.99 for that.
10%, that's a monster, man. Please, I
How
bet
much you pay for that, Eric?
Look at the
God,
color.
please
I
don't
mean, if
drink
I can
that
get the
whole
light
thing.
just right, there you go. Look at that, like, ruby red color
That's pretty.
from the beer.
That's incredible.
I mean, it's got a nice tone to it. It's very rich. I mean, and by that I mean, I explained that it's made with cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice. Okay, for right there, those are the 3 starters for your pumpkin-esque style beers. But this one throws in like the vanilla, the molasses, the maple syrup. To be honest with you, I would honestly say that this one here tastes more like a sweet potato pie.
Oh, man.
I agree with that statement entirely. Yes.
Because this here, I mean, you're getting the yams. The yams are like right up in your face. Aroma's just all that cinnamon, nutmeg, allspice, a little bit of molasses, a little bit of that maple syrup. But you do get that the Belgian yeast strain that they use. It's got like it's kind of funny because out of all those smells, I kind of get like a little bit of like a banana bubblegum flavor out of the aroma. But once you sit there and you start drinking on this, it tastes like a sweet potato pie. And I've seen it all over the place. They say perfect to pair with your Thanksgiving dinner, maybe even a bean casserole, some pumpkin pies.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Scott, that is not a stereotypical fall beer, but that is like off-the-chain type fall beer, huh?
That's what I say.
It's more like a harvest beer where if you, especially because I did it last year with Thanksgiving dinner, and it worked better with a lot of. I was looking online yesterday about how to exactly pair beers with turkey, and some places were mentioning stuff like you don't want to necessarily go for just what the turkey is. You got to look at a large variety of things that you're having on your plate during Thanksgiving, and that beer seems to cover a lot of different areas on the plate. And I found that it tasted way better with the food than just drinking it alone.
The last year for Thanksgiving, I took on Russian River's Temptation. I thought it was paired perfectly. So.
Now, some people in the chat are bringing up. We're gonna get to you, Dave, because Dave's got some nice little numbers there. Now, people are saying $11.99. Man, it's more like $16.99 where I live. And I'll tell you what, that beer is more like $16.99 where I live. So if you got it for $11.99, you got a good deal, I think.
Get my table out.
I'd probably pick it up.
Isn't that beer usually a lot more expensive than $11.99?
That's about what runs around here. Is $11.99.
Most of their beers, the most expensive one from them out in my area right now happens to be the Tart of Darkness.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna check it out. Now, maybe I will see it somewhere for $11.99. I don't know. Now, Nate, let's get to Nate. He's got an interesting beer there. So tell us about it, Nate. And then we're gonna go back to Dave.
It just became a little more interesting with what Eric said about the his beer being also an Oktoberfest and having kind of a lighter color to it. This is definitely got that kind of auburn, kind of darker color to it. When I smell it, it's got an interesting kind of bread kind of smell to it as well, which is even cooler because when you drink it, you've got the smoked malts that they put into it. One thing I noted on the one bit of information that is on the bottle, it doesn't have the percentage on the bottle or anything like that. I looked it up at somewhere around 5.5%, but it does state that it is not pasteurized. So there's normal sediment in the bottle as well, which kind of the cloudy kind of look to it.
Do you find that it's, you know, I love those Ochsenkeller Roch beers, but my problem with them was they were too smoky for me. I couldn't handle it. Like, do you find it's too smoky?
No, I mean, if you don't like the smoky, you probably won't like this because it is quite smoky. You know, I like everything kind of smoky. I have my bacon burnt to a crisp before I eat it.
Oh, okay.
Age any of the Roush beers. The Roush beers, man, once you age those, they turn into like a nice, smooth, like smoked applewood bacon.
Yeah.
Oh, Brandon put a thing here. Smoke flavor intensifies with age. Well, good grief. I don't know if those ones I drank, I don't know if they were old, but they tasted really smoky. It was like eating some kind of smoked pork or something. Now, Dave, and then we're gonna. Dave's gonna give us some beer, and then I'm gonna. I want to ask an overall, kind of an overarching question to y'all. Dave, from Ohio as well. Beer sample.
Hi,
Dave.
Well, you guys kept me off guard here. So what I did is I pulled out. I got a 12-pack of Harpoon. I got the pumpkin, and I've got the Oktoberfest. So what I did here is I opened up the pumpkin. 5% alcohol, and it's unfiltered. There it is.
Ooh.
I've never had that.
It's a little bit cold. I've been holding it in my hand trying to warm it up, but I'm gonna give it a go.
Now I have the Harpoon Oktoberfest in my fridge right now.
I've never had anything from Harpoon.
This is just a little bit too cold, but I tell you what, if give me about 10 minutes, let it warm up. I'll hold it in my hand, and I'll give you. Now, Dale, I can send you some of that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm waiting for Dale's big shipment of Alaskan beers.
Oh, you're gonna get a big shipment.
Wow.
Now, who said they never had a Harpoon beer?
Me, I've never had any.
You know, Dale, Harpoon is sort of like a Beta. They make a mass market craft beer that is good, but a lot of people might kind of pick on it, say it's too ordinary or something.
Yeah.
But I mean,
like when it's not available at all, like I don't know, you know.
You still like to try it because it's not available.
I mean, I took a lot of flack for posting that I drank that Shock Top Pumpkin Wheat the other day, but I had to try it, and I actually wasn't that bad. So.
Did you let it warm up a little bit, Dale, or did you drink?
I did. I always, pumpkin beers. You taste them right when you pour them, and then you let them sit 10 minutes in the glass, and then you come back and you see what changed, and you see if and I mean. Yeah, that one I drank yesterday was, it went downhill when it got warm. So
I'm glad you brought that up. I'd like to see Dave drink some of that stuff now and smell it, and then come back to us at the end.
It's horrible right now. It's awful. Yeah, I got it in my hands. I'm trying to warm it up because I know warm it's going to be a lot better than what it is.
Yeah, most pumpkin beers you got to get them to over 50, and then you start getting all those, because it just sits there dormant when it's that cold.
Yep.
I haven't been exactly in love with that UFO series anyway. They have that UFO white beer, and
yeah,
to me it's sort of like a low-grade Hoegaarden. I don't know. Maybe I'm too picky.
I think it's far superior to anything that Shock Top or Blue Moon produces.
Sure, for sure.
Well, wait a minute.
I like that UFO Hefeweizen. That's pretty good, especially on a patio when it's hot outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay. Well. Hey, but wait.
Right?
I thought their pumpkin beer was pretty good. They come out with. I kind of enjoyed that.
I thought the Shock Top. I'm not saying I hate the UFO line. I say I find it kind of not the greatest, but that doesn't mean it's bad.
Absolutely. To each their own.
Now the Shock Top beer that I really loved was that chocolate one. It was made with real chocolate. I mean, that was dynamite. I said, man, this is great. But other Shock Top beers, I could throw them in a gutter. I wouldn't care, But the chocolate the chocolate beer was really great.
Everybody rants and raves around here about the chocolate one.
I just think they did a great job with it. And even though it's made by InBev, I didn't care because it tasted good. Now, but I'm picking on UFO, but I do generally like Harpoon beers more than the average person.
Nothing wrong with that.
And isn't Harpoon? Let me get this right. Now I think I could be wrong, but isn't Harpoon some kind of way affiliated with Rochester, New York, and the Tennessee people and the?
I have not heard. I've not heard that personally.
A lot of times on the bottle, though, I think I've noticed where it said Rochester, New York, and someplace in Vermont, but I don't know.
They brew their beers in Boston, Mass, and they brew their beers in, I think it's Middlebury, Vermont. I'd have to get that correct, but I think it's in Middlebury, Vermont, and in Boston, Mass.
Well, what it's got on Google, I'm just seeing it right now, is Boston, Mass, and Windsor, Vermont.
Windsor, that's right. My bad.
Okay, but I don't know. Anyway, Dave's saying it's not too good, but he's letting it warm. But I want to ask a question. It's kind of a ridiculous question, but I think it has some merit. What do you think? What is your overall opinion about fall beers? My overall opinion is I look forward to them. I don't love them. I like them, but I don't love them. But I mean, I'll
be honest with you. I'm not a fan of fall beers or pumpkin beers. But if you're going to put them out in the fall. Don't put them out. I mean, around here they was out before August.
Yeah, they do July in New England.
You hit the nail right on the head, John, because I was just going to say I love Southern Tier Pumpkin, but it was out the second week of August.
Yeah.
And some of these Oktoberfest beers were coming out in late July. Isn't that ridiculous?
Yeah, Scott had a Sam Adams back then. Did you, Scott? Sam Adams was back then.
It was like second week of August.
See now.
Yeah.
They had the Sam Adams here the first weekend in August.
Yeah. My favorite local brewery, Upslope, out of Boulder, Colorado, their pumpkin beer doesn't come out till October. It just came out last week, and the pumpkins were actually picked at a patch 2 blocks from the house I grew up in September. So I mean, they do it right. They wait. I mean, they're fresh pumpkins. That pumpkin beer is amazing, and I guess that may be the difference.
There was a big.
I know Scott went off on the pump kick, and the whole whatever they're using for that New Belgium pumpkin beer that
my rant
or whatever. I mean.
I didn't get
that. One of the best pumpkins I've had is I like Dogfish Head's pumpkin pretty well.
That is an awesome beer.
It's a good one.
It's good.
Yeah, my opinion on this whole fall beer stuff is That I really think you almost like with the autumn maple ale there, you kind of have to, in my opinion, you kind of have to look and search for something out of the norm to find a really truly exceptional and out of the norm of a pumpkin beer or of a Oktoberfest beer. You got to find something that nobody's tasting, or that is weird enough, or that is distinctively enough in how they brew it and what they use for ingredients that separates itself from, say, Shipyard's Pumpkinhead.
Well, I think there's also, you got to get into the fact that when you're talking about autumn or fall seasonals, then you start talking about the fresh hop beers, and there's a whole line of fresh hop beers that come out. And I anticipate this time of year. This is my favorite time of year. We hit September through December, and all the releases that come out in that period, that is my favorite. I mean, yes, when I fall back at the end of the day, I'm an IPA drinker. But when you're talking about what's going on during a season, this is my season, and I like the pumpkins. I like the Oktoberfest, but then you get those fresh hops, those wet hop beers, and
right.
Most of them sometimes are IPAs, and so it just takes me to another level. So
yeah, I can find that when it comes to the winter season, that stuff becomes sometimes almost too undrinkable with its figs and whatever kind of warming mold cider.
I don't know. I disagree with that. I'm into that.
The darker the later the season, the darker the beer, the better for me.
Yeah,
I'll agree with Dale, though. It's kind of exciting, the fall football games are on and all. But what was I going to say? Here's something I want to bring up. Now, actually, we were planning in November to do pumpkin beers. So I was kind of disappointed that people brought pumpkin beers, but that's okay.
My pumpkin on purpose.
Yeah.
Hey, pumpkin beers rock, okay? Take it from a girl.
And I'm not an anti-pumpkinite. But
Into that.
I'm pretty much addicted to pumpkin pie, But what do y'all think about doing pumpkin beer in November, like a pumpkin beer?
Well, I'm all in because I'm in 31 days of pumpkin right now. So every day I'm going to have a different pumpkin beer. And
Nice.
Wow.
I went to a
I got
pumpkin.
I got 25 more over in the fridge, so we're ready to go.
Wow.
Have you tried the Lakeshore Imperial Pumpkin Bicentennial, I think it is, beer? It's aged in brandy barrels. It's fantastic if you can find it.
Wow.
That stuff's rich.
Go on.
I'll see you
Oh,
later.
it's rich, but it's very, very good.
Hey,
Sorry to interrupt.
Come on.
no, ma'am, we need to get you on this panel is what we need to
Exactly.
do.
Exactly.
We need more women. It's too male-oriented. I'm going to tell you that right now. Now, Dave, what is your final opinion of this UFO pumpkin? Because you weren't too thrilled at first.
Well,
He drank
now
that food, didn't he?
that it's warmed, I definitely get some pumpkin seed aroma in here. I get some spices. There's definitely some cinnamon in here. It's very smooth and easy drinking. It's nothing offensive in here, but it's not one of my favorite pumpkin beers either.
So it's okay.
It's okay. It's drinkable. It's doable, but it wouldn't be on my list to take to Thanksgiving dinner when I go someplace.
Yeah,
Is it worth trying, though?
It's worth a shot.
we're trying.
There's nothing wrong with it, but it's nothing to rush out and break your neck over buying, in my humble opinion.
Okay.
Well,
That makes sense. And that's sort of like the Abita that I drank. It's good, but I wouldn't get too excited about it.
okay.
Well, Eric's got to go to band practice, and we've all got different things to do and everything, so we're going to shut it down. But I thought it was good, I guess, because we looked at fall beers, and fall beers have their place, and their place is pretty important, although I think we all agree that July ain't the place.
Yeah, July for a 10%.
Definitely.
July for a 10% pumpkin beer is just it's not wrong. It's just kind of weird.
I just don't want to be walking around in a grocery store on July 20th or July 25th and see Oktoberfest beers on the in a display.
Yeah, in June, this June, might I say quickly here, this June was the first time I ever tried that Dogfish Head pumpkin beer, and I found it at my store in June.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's not right. Well, I wish we did have the Beer Whisperer here, though, because he brings up, like, he'll bring up a point that I never would think of. Like, he'll mention something, and I'll be like, I never thought of that. I never thought of that. So I wish he was here. We're gonna pretty much require him to be here for pumpkin beers. I think because he always brings up these points I never thought of, and I can't think of him if he's not here bringing up the point. So
Right.
So that'll help us out. But anyway, see y'all tomorrow for an examination of
Smithwick's
Irish Ale, which has only been out since 1710. So.
Woo. But my beer's older. Yay.
I've had plenty of that. I don't need to get involved.
Well, excuse us. Anyway,
tomorrow.
Anybody sticking around? I'll be in the chat if anybody wants to stick around after we cut this.
I'm not going nowhere.
I got time.
All right. Well, thank you for joining this video production.